Hey, what's up, Inspirators? It's your boy Tony D, TonyDoyleInspires.com. Just doing a little light reading right now. And you know what? I was thinking about this earlier, and I thought I should probably share it with y'all. So, let me know if this is something that interests you. Of course, this channel is dedicated to all things inspirational, aspirational, motivational, everything that gets us going to do what we do. And I was thinking about a quote, because as I was thinking about what that really is for most of us, actually for all of us, if we boil it down, and we'll talk more about that. But I was thinking about a certain phrase that definitely is getting a resurgence right now, but really has been super popular from all kind of different masters and yogis and gurus throughout the ages, in different forms. So today on NSPR8, I wanted to talk about what is bliss and why do we need to follow it. Hey, like I said, my name is Tony Doyle, TonyDoyleInspires.com, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that little bell icon as well. That'll give you notifications every time we put out a new video, and we are dedicated to putting out a new video every single day. So hopefully that's interesting to you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It actually works with the algorithm in YouTube to let other like-minded folks who may want to see this but wouldn't normally have the opportunity to be able to see it. And if you love it, I would invite you to please share it directly to your pages, to your friends, and to any groups that you may be associated with that may also like this. So, that being said, we're going to get right into the content today. And I think it's pretty interesting. So, where does this follow your bliss thing come from? And why is it so important? Here's how important it is. And this has been throughout the ages, not only in the spiritual community, but in transformational mindset community, high performance community. This concept of following your bliss, So I got to thinking, like, where does it come from? We know the quote is attributed to Joseph Campbell, and so I did a little research on that. I found it super interesting that even Abraham Hicks, those of you who follow Abraham Hicks, Law of Attraction, the ethereal teachings through Esther and Jerry Hicks, several books, obviously you can find it all over YouTube, but even they have been quoted as saying, and I may butcher the quote exactly, but it's something like that there's no earthly teaching any truer than the 3 words Joseph Campbell uttered when he said, "Follow your bliss." That's high praise. That's that's pretty awesome. So I went into it, and I've got a lot of quotes from other folks, and just wanted to delve into this a little bit. So feel free to put down in the comments what bliss means to you, and if you have found your bliss as we go along here, and we're going to define it and figure out what that even means. If you found that, like, what that is for you. So here is the original quote, the exact quote from Joseph Campbell. He says, "Follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls." Wow. You know what I mean? So, no wonder everybody's excited about it. I mean, that is a big promise. It's a big promise. But with the likes of Abraham Hicks, and literally I found no less than 130 some other quotations and citations for following your bliss. So everyone is on board with this, and just wanted to get a little bit insight into it. I thought it might be interesting. Definitely for me personally, if this is the best way to stay inspired throughout your life and fulfill your purpose and stay happy and all that, then we should probably figure out what that is. So that's how my mind works anyway. So let's just go into it. So what is bliss? And I looked at Webster's, I looked at several different citations to find out about bliss, because if we're going to follow it, then we kind of need to know what it is and how we figure it out for ourselves. So here's some of the quotes I found, or some of the definitions I found, and it's interpolated by me, but there's some great stuff in here. So bliss is an innate state of inner joy. That's a great quote. An innate state of inner joy. So we've all got the capacity for bliss, right? No matter what our age, our background, our physical, mental disabilities possibly, ethnicities, genders, religion. If it is an innate state of inner joy, then we've all got the capacity for bliss, right? External circumstances, whether positive or negative, happy or sad, wouldn't be able to affect it because it is 100% within us. So bliss is a state of unity, transcendence, completeness, knowingness, wholeness, and an uplifted consciousness. It is a feeling of oneness in connection with all of creation. Bliss is never boring, and it feels ever new, expansive, and infinite. That's Eckhart Tolle. Once again, high praise indeed. So it's super interesting that this thing that really is undefinable gets so much praise from all these gurus and folks that we definitely, a lot of us pattern our lives after, and believe that they have found the key to it. So let's go a little bit further into it. We talked about Abraham earlier. So Abraham, through the words of Esther Hicks, has stated this. And this is from an interview about one of the books. So this is like a behind-the-scenes thing that you may not get if you don't delve down deep. But we found this. Bliss is where happiness, meaning, and truth converge. Everything, and I do mean everything, boils down to our pursuit of bliss. She goes on. We pursue money and or relationships because we think they'll make us happy. We pursue our vocation, our hobbies, our life's passion because we feel they are deeply meaningful to us. We explore science, religion, philosophical inquiry because we want to know the truth of our existence. Bliss is the universal place that these intersect, where all questions are answered, where every fulfillment is attained. Wow. Great stuff. And you can check that out. I actually found that on Goodreads. Like I said, it's from an interview of Esther Hicks. Isn't it interesting that the concept of bliss is found in every religion, but doesn't require a specific religion in order to know it? And we'll go through some more quotes, and you'll see just the range of folks who are on this topic of bliss have really found it to be the key to happiness. So let's talk a little bit more about it. So like I said, it's interesting that you don't have to have any type of religion at all. It is a spiritual concept. At the same time, it's innate within us. So it's innate within our own beingness, if you were. And even though there's different terminologies and it's used and explained, whether it's Christian or Hindu or Jewish or Muslim or Buddhist or atheist, Wiccan or Mormon, Taoist or Native American, we all strive for bliss. Sorry about that camera angle there. We're all striving for bliss, right? I found quotes from all of those different religions. Like I said, as well as, Scientologists and scientists that don't claim a religion, atheists, whatnot. Super interesting. And we'll just sum it up like this. Another person who has been getting a big following, kind of a resurgence of popularity, is Yogananda. His book Diary of a Yogi, a lot of us use that view that as one of the top 10 books written on spirituality and the intersection of this 3D plane that we're living on now. But so the Indian guru Yogananda explained bliss like this. Bliss is a transcendental state of superior calm, including within itself the consciousness of a great expansion and that of all in one and one in all. When that sense of ego, of separation melts away, a feeling of total connectedness and no sense of the me, separate from all of creation, descends, that is bliss consciousness. Interesting. So that's bliss. I think we got a good idea of what, defining bliss. So it's a happiness, it's a feeling within. If for the spiritual folks, there's definitely a spiritual connotation to it. So even if you're not highly religious, I think you recognize that bliss has a connotation of a spiritual connectedness, a oneness. So let's get back to our original quote here. Once again, Joseph Campbell's original quote was, "Follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls." Okay, so now follow your bliss. So we figured out kind of what bliss is. So we could, through that definition, we could look and figure out, as we backtrack, we could figure out what that means for us. Like what the blissful things in our life are that have all the qualities of the definitions that we just read. So it's not a sense of me, like in the Esther Hicks quote from earlier. She talked about all the physical things that we did, whether it's chasing money or wanting a relationship, the house, the car, all those things, but that we want it for that underlying feeling, right? The powers and the passion. Powers and your passion is closely related to follow your bliss. So let's go on about follow your bliss, and let me read you some quotes for some other folks. Like I said, I found a whole lot of attributions to this, and it's from all walks of life, and I'll try to introduce each of these quotes as we go and let you know who said it, why they said it, and you can form your own conclusion. But law of attraction teacher Jack Canfield has a saying. Jack Canfield from The Secret, Chicken Soup for the Soul, whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, so Jack Canfield's saying is this: if it ain't fun, don't do it. And he states that his primary aim is always to feel and experience joy. Follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. Neil Donald Walsh, if you guys follow me, you know who is one of my favorite writers. I think Neil does a really good job of transcending spirituality and kind of placing it in a non-religious connotation. You know, he is a big proponent in his Conversation with God series. You guys, that's another book series that you need to look up. Definitely, if you're not familiar with it, check that out. But he does a good job of talking about the God within, about, you know, as Dr. Dyer would say, the God spark, you know, that piece of divinity within us. So his quote is interesting also. Neil Donald Walsh says, joy, love, freedom, happiness, laughter. That's all it is. And if you just experience blissful joy sitting there and meditating for an hour, by golly, do that. And if you experience joy eating a salami sandwich, then go do that. That's awesome. Like, I love how he just breaks it down to common, ordinary things. And I think we really can do that. We each have things that we are innately drawn to that light us up, you know, that really keep our fire burning. And it's funny how we relegate those things to the back burner, and then we go out and force ourselves to push through some other stuff all day, every day. And then when we feel our energy depleted or our fire going out, you know, we may reach for those things, and we may try to go outside of ourselves and reach for another person or another place or a thing. When really, that passion, that joy, that bliss is within. We talked about that earlier, the bliss within. Rhonda Byrne encouraged us to ask, what is my joy? In her seminal work, The Secret, it states that as you find it and commit yourself to joy, the law of attraction will pour an avalanche of joyful things, people, circumstances, events, and opportunities into your life, all because you are radiating joy. She sums it all up by writing, be happy now, feel good now. This is the only thing you have to do. It's all that matters. So there we go. A really good one for Follow Your Bliss. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with The Secret and Rhonda Byrne. She actually has a whole series of books that you should check out. If you're only familiar with the movie The Secret, I definitely suggest you go check out her book series. My favorite is called The Power, but she has 4 books in that series, and there's a lot of behind-the-scenes compendiums as well. So check those out. I told you I was going to give you a whole list of things and people. And do your own work. Go do your research on this. But I thought it was an interesting topic. So if you guys are finding this interesting, please comment down below if you found your bliss, if you like this type of a topic. And we'll just sum it up like this. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but a couple of other authors and speakers. This is my friend Lisa Nichols. If you guys know Lisa, she is amazing. She is a Mind Valley author as well. She teaches a lot of great stuff, self-empowerment, even speaking, things like that. But this is what Lisa said, and she was actually featured in The Secret as well. She says, when you follow your bliss, you live in a constant space of joy. You open yourself to the abundance of the universe. All right. Richard Dawkins. Okay. Richard Dawkins, known atheist. He wrote several books. He is a super well-respected scientist. In his book called The God Delusion, Richard Dawkins writes this: there is something infantile in the presumption that somebody else has a responsibility to give your life meaning. The truly adult view, by contrast, is that our life is as meaningful, as full, and as wonderful as we choose to make it. Super interesting to see it from the other side, a person who doesn't innately practice spirituality, and definitely not religion, but If you guys aren't familiar with Richard Dawkins, he has a lot of great work also. Definitely go check him out. I have audiobooks and books and all kind of stuff from him. Once again, let's go back to Joseph Campbell, who gave us that first original quote. He also stated this: if you do not follow your bliss, it's on you. It's on you, okay? If you do follow your bliss, you will put yourself in a kind of track that has been there all the while, waiting on you. And the life that you ought to be living is the one you are living. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid. Those doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. Super inspiring. I love the thought of that. The path was there all along, right? It's inside of you all the time. These blissful things are sitting there waiting for you to discover, you know. And as I say on this channel all the time, at NSPR8, if you're not inspired, it's because you're not looking around and appreciating enough. But also, it's because you may not be trying enough things. You know, are you letting yourself go out and experience different things to find out if you've got a calling and a pull towards something? Are you following that pull? You know, are you taking that inspired action? Katharine Hepburn. Okay, so now we're getting some insight from, you know, from stage and screen. Katharine Hepburn. She says this, and it's definitely closely related to following your bliss. If you always do what interests you, at least one person will be pleased, and that person is you. So, makes a lot of sense, you know. We're told time and time again not to worry about other folks, what they think, what they do, what they say. And, of course, we do a lot of times worry about other people. But if we're following our bliss, then we're so happy that it doesn't matter what anybody else says. So, Dale Carnegie, if you are familiar with Carnegie Hall, the Carnegie Principles, he says this: people rarely succeed unless they have fun in what they are doing. Right? So follow your bliss. He is a big business expert. So he's always talking about maximizing your potential, high performance, and those type of things. And then I will sum it all up. I don't want to go on too long, but once again, I do suggest that you check this out for yourself. If you have any issues finding your bliss and figuring out how to follow that, hit me up. Go to put it in the comments here, or go to our group on Facebook by the same name, NSPR8, NSPR8, and you can type in the group and interact with all the other group members there. So I'm going to sum it up with this. This is Curtis Tyrone Jones in his book Giants at Play. He says this: in order to live fully, you must be guided by the reality of your ecstasy more than by the maintenance of your monotony. Let's say that one more time. In order to live fully, you must be guided by the reality of your ecstasy more than the maintenance of your monotony. Follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. So, hopefully this is an interesting topic for you guys. I barely scratched the surface. There's so many more things that we could talk about. You know, just I just invite you to do your own work on that. But when I was sitting back and really thinking of what I could share with you guys to really keep yourselves inspired and moving forward all the time, and I just kept coming back to this follow your bliss concept. So hopefully that's interesting to you guys. If so, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell icon. That will give you notification every time we put out a new video. And we do put out a video every single day. And if you really love this, share this with your friends and your groups, please. We're trying to grow the channel. I would appreciate your assistance with that. So, once again, follow your bliss. And as I always say, if you are not inspired, you are not looking around and appreciating enough. All right. Peace and love. Stay inspired.